Trust is about having faith in your own ability. Most people refer to trust as, quote, confidence, unquote, or having a feeling of certainty, but I describe trust as the absence of fear, or better yet, outcome independence. Take the following scenario of you walking across a balance beam 6 inches high without thinking or hesitating. It's oh so easy. Next, raise that same balance beam 50 feet in the air. If you've ever done such a feat, with safety measures of course, your legs were likely trembling and images of falling were likely racing through your mind. So what's the difference here? You went from not caring about failure to a high-stakes situation where succeeding matters, from outcome independence to outcome dependence. So how does this all relate to tennis? Trust allows you to play free, without tension, unlike the raised balance beam where the fear of falling cripples your mind and body. Maybe during a fun practice set you're swinging away and going for your best shots, but in a tournament that, quote, counts, unquote, you can't duplicate that same feeling. Do you know any, quote, practice players, unquote, who look good in practice but can't perform in big matches? Or how about someone who chokes and can't operate in pressure situations? Oddly enough, it's the exact same player from a physical and technical standpoint, but raise the balance beam by 50 feet and mental paralysis occurs. Obviously, there's no quick fix. The long-term solution requires rewriting your internal dialogue by replacing any fear-based thoughts of what could go wrong with action-oriented thoughts of what you need to do in the present moment. Whatever you choose to focus on, you feel, which means fear only has power when you put attention on it. This may seem counterintuitive, but it's actually healthy to make a certain amount of errors because opposite to falling off a high ledge and dying, your brain needs to remember that one, missing is no big deal, and two, tennis is way more fun when you play free without reservation. Have faith in all the years of training and repetition because you are the same player in practice as in the tournament, playing the same game with the same balls on the same dimension court. Nothing has actually changed, meaning that everything you perceived as pressure or fear was merely an illusion in your head. To go a step further, you can even use fear in the opposite way, being afraid of what will happen if you don't let loose and trust your shot. But reframing the situation or distracting your mind will only take your outcome independence so far. True freedom from outcome requires a fundamental shift in how you perceive success and failure. If you define who you are as a person solely by your results, then you will always be dependent on an outcome. But if you define yourself by the efforts and actions you take, you'll realize the ups and downs of winning and losing is a process meant to serve you and help you grow and develop as a person, not for you to serve an artificially constructed identity defined by what mainstream society considers, quote, good, unquote. This goes against the grain because our society as a whole, and likely your peers, will define success and failure by results. But arguably, you could say that winning is the only thing that matters because everything that's taught here, including outcome independence, ironically, is to help you win more. A conceptual understanding is just the first step to improve in this area. It's only after experiencing enough ups and downs you become accustomed to the emotional roller coaster instead of being tormented by it. Nobody is fully immune to the joys of victory and pains of defeat, not even professional athletes who ride that roller coaster every day. Always remember that bad losses don't mean you're a bad person. They don't mean anything. Bottom line, you can't fear losing, and on a micro level, you can't fear missing any one shot because everything works on probability. When a basketball player gets a, quote, hot hand, unquote, and everything is going in or gets cold and can't make a shot, their shooting percentage returns to its average over time. Although your probability increases temporarily by raising your focus, your sense of control, as well with pressure and fear, is another illusion you have to let go of to move closer toward outcome independence. It's puzzling to me when people just say to be confident. No amount of confidence can replace technical, mental, and physical attributes. Confidence is a byproduct of winning because having a previous history of winning gives you a feeling of certainty that you will continue winning. And without previous results to forecast the future with certainty, isn't confidence the same as delusion? How can you be confident if your track record indicates that you'll keep losing? After about 10 prior losses, I don't think Juan Martín del Potro knew for certain that he'd beat Roger Federer in the US Open 2009 final, but he trusted his game, played without fear, and accepted whatever the outcome might be. Most future events never have occurred in the past. Could Federer have predicted winning 19 Grand Slams before he even won one? There's a first for everything, so don't attempt to forecast the future and limit yourself by the past. Furthermore, any forecasted outcome that fails to materialize will shake your feeling of certainty and lower your confidence. If confidence comes from winning and winning comes from playing high quality tennis comes from your base skill set. That's why you should focus on your skills and not delude yourself with any predetermined outcome. Many disagree with this, but I occasionally advise going into a match expecting to lose. Without expectations, there isn't any worry regarding results or social judgment, but I also insist on fighting for every point, running until your legs collapse, and being proud leaving every ounce of energy on the court. This mentality is designed to lower your expectations and raise work ethic, shifting your focus from external factors that pull you down to internal factors that propel you upward. For example, many players feel they need to protect a ranking, but here's the disconnect. What got you that high ranking wasn't from hiding in your basement, but rather putting yourself on the line and putting your quote reputation unquote at risk, vulnerable and naked. You had nothing when you first started, and relative to other players, your achievements are still nothing in comparison. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you have something to protect. That would be a mentality of scarcity, where you rather hide in the basement than face the thought of risking your ego and self-image to defend a ranking or some other socially constructed measure of yourself. From an abundance standpoint, you'll play hundreds of matches in your lifetime, so why be concerned with any one match? Some players fear playing against worse opponents or facing a situation where the expectation is winning. Therefore, focus on what you have to gain instead of what you have to lose. If you were at 10,000 feet up Mount Everest, look up at the next ledge instead of down. And by that metric, you could argue that Roger Federer only has downside. With his incredible track record, there's much further distance to fall than climb, but he still looks up at that next ledge. Players will eventually find their own perspective on this, but this extreme approach outlined here was designed for the self-tormented hard case players who need to supplant their current belief system and at a minimum enjoy playing the game again. But even if fear never enters the equation for you, the mindset of expecting to win regardless of effort level prevents you from putting in the work long term to achieve your potential and leaves the door open to make excuses in the case reality doesn't match your expectations. Thanks so much for tuning in. This was a trust section, and actually, for me personally, the first lesson I had ever received in mental with the whole entire balance beam analogy. But this is super important to have that intent, right? The intent to win, the desire to win, without the attachment of it. I wish I, as a player, had this when I first started. So if this whole idea of trust and outcome to independence felt relevant and resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe right now, and get the corresponding book so you can take this concept with you for the rest of your tennis journey. And see you on the next audio.